hold you into the,
I can just unmute myself.
okay, I'll just leave you there because I don't want to mess it up. So, okay, thank you all for being here. And Alexandra is going to kick us off.
Hey. Hi, everybody. I'm Alexandra Gillen, and along with my co-host, Karen McCormick and Ruth Mary Crowdler, would like to welcome you and thank you for taking time to learn about San Mateo County Board of Education candidate, Chelsea Bonini. We admire Chelsea for the genuine passion for equity and formidable knowledge she brought to her work on the San Mateo Foster City School Board. Being on a school board can be thankless and requires long hours of homework. Chelsea knows her stuff, and in the super complex world of education policy, the content is essential to understanding a problem and knowing where the solutions might be. We can't wait to see Chelsea deploy her talents at the county level. We know you have questions and Chelsea wants to answer them. If you haven't already submitted a question, please feel free to do so in the chat function or raise your hand during the Q&A a little later on in the session. Meanwhile, we are thrilled to have joining us today several past, current, and candidate public servants. There's Delane Easton, former California Superintendent of Public Instruction, Maurice Goodman, San Mateo County Community College District Trustee, David Canepa, San Mateo County Supervisor for District 5, Josh Becker, candidate for State Senate District 13, Sam Hendy, Foster City Council member and candidate for re-election, Nancy Shea, former San Mateo Foster City School Board Trustee, Alliston Proctor, current San Mateo Foster City School Board Trustee. These guests, whose involvement with public education spans the local, county, and state levels, will be sharing their unique perspectives on Chelsea's qualifications. To kick things off, we have a video from Maurice Goodman, San Mateo County Community College District Trustee and candidate for re-election.
Okay.
Do we have the real guy instead?
we do have him. Okay.
Still here.
Here we go. Screen share. All right.
Chelsea is one of the most courageous champions for all students. She's very compassionate, and she's one of the most extraordinary educational leaders that I've ever had the privilege to work with. Congratulations, Chelsea, and let's go out and win this election.
Thank you, Maurice.
Great. Yes, many thanks to Maurice for that. And I think next we have Josh Becker, and he again is the candidate for State Senate District 13 and to fill Jerry Hill's open seat as he terms out of the State Senate. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you all. And I was saying that the other day that we all need community during these very, very trying times. And I said this on Maurice's kickoff, and I will say it here again, that it's the community of friends of Chelsea Bonini that's a community that I want to be part of. And looking around, this is a terrific group, and I just want to say that I am all in on Chelsea. I'd say Chelsea's race and Maurice's race are the two races that are non-city council races that I'm most focused on, and I want to do whatever I can to help Chelsea. When we first met during her work on SN Kids, which I became involved with, and something that we feel very deeply here. My wife's brother is special needs, and something that we think a lot about, and her advocacy has just been so important and would be an incredible voice on the board. She is just so committed and so passionate and has so much energy and knows so much about the issues. It would just be a real, just a real win and a real advantage to all of us here in San Mateo County if she was gonna, if she wins this seat. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm happy to hear everyone else. I do have to leave at 6. I'm kicking off the labor phone bank today. They're phone banking on Prop 15 and Prop 22. So I have to kick them at 6. So I'll stick around till then. But I just want to say how excited I am, Chelsea, for this race. I appreciate all your support for me, and you just like anyone here, please call on me anytime for whatever we could do, because we know it's hard to campaign during this crazy time, and we want to be as helpful as possible.
Next, oh, I lost my sheet. Next up, we have, I believe Delane Easton is our next speaker. Thank you, Delane.
Happy to be with all of you, and I'm really happy to be here supporting Chelsea. A few of you know that I'm a native Californian. I was raised in San Carlos, California, so I'm from your backyard. And I was privileged to leave a San Francisco school in the 2nd grade, where I was one of 44 kids, to go to a school in San Carlos, Britton Acres, where I was the 20th child. And so I'm the one who did class size reduction, because I knew what a difference it made for me, and I wanted that for everybody. My dream trustee for a county office of education is a credentialed school teacher who served on a local school board and who understands the needs of special needs kids as well as appreciates the arts. Chelsea's a Gold Star candidate as far as I'm concerned. She's really a absolutely wonderful candidate for this position. And San Mateo has some fabulous school districts. It's also got its share of challenges, and we're living in a challenging time. And the kids that are getting hurt the most right now are the children in foster care, the special needs kids, the kids in court and community schools, and the kids with challenges related to education and poverty. Learning English and poverty. And so I want somebody, I can't honestly imagine a more wonderful candidate for this post than Chelsea. I think we all need to get behind her, because in truth, the county office plays a much bigger role than many people realize. I was instrumental in giving it a clear role, because when Richmond went bankrupt, I went to the county superintendent Contra Costa and said, "Why didn't you tell them they were broke?" And he said, "I did, but I had no authority to do anything." But a constructive, creative, honest, hardworking member of the County Board of Trustees of San Mateo County can help every single district and every single kid. This is a very special quality that this woman has, having had all this other experience. And I give her absolutely a standing ovation for running. And I hope we'll all get behind her very enthusiastically. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for being our candidate.
Thank you, Delane.
Thank you, Delane. Next, we were going to hear a little bit from David.
We haven't been able to get David's video working, unfortunately. David, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
First of all, let me just say thank you very much. And I'm just delighted, really delighted to be here. And I think Delane touched on a couple points. She was actually a school teacher at Skyline in Daly City. And what you've done, Chelsea, not only as an educator, but really just being a community person, being progressive, having ideas. In this pandemic, it's more important than ever, your particular position and dealing with the complexity of what's before us. And that complexity spans from, kids getting in the classroom to kids learning from home. And there's no one better positioned with the skill set that you have and the background that you have to address these pressing needs and concerns. I'm all the way up in the fog belt known as Daly City, but I just want to tell you from all the way up here, we support you. I truly believe that with the members who are on that board, that you would mesh extraordinarily well. And our teachers, our kids, they'll be the benefits. They will benefit, from your candidacy. So all the best of luck. And to those folks who are listening, please make sure on a campaign, you can't do it without financial resources. I know I donated, but if you could find it within your heart, and with whatever you have, whether it's chipping in for $5 or $500, anything that you can do to make sure that Chelsea represents us would be phenomenal. Thank you very much, Chelsea, and great luck.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Sam Hindi from Foster City.
Thank you very much. Let me first start by saying how proud I am to support Chelsea in her candidacy. I have worked personally with Chelsea. I had the firsthand knowledge working with Chelsea when she was a trustee and a president of San Mateo Foster City School District. And Chelsea has done a phenomenal job, and I mean that, for our kids and for our schools. So I'm really excited about your candidacy now, Chelsea, because I know Chelsea has a passion. She has a skill set to do the job for our kids. Not only that, I know Chelsea has been a passionate, compassionate person. She has always been working on issues that advocating for social justice, equity, and those are characteristics that you don't find in every candidate, although they might be just, they have the skill set. But when you're talking about kids and schools, I want someone who has a compassion, someone who cares, deeply care, and I think we have that in Chelsea. So Chelsea, you got my full support, and like David said, and Josh and everybody, we need to support Chelsea. And unfortunately, in these times, campaigns need a lot of money to get the message across. We know Chelsea has a great message. We know Chelsea is a great person, but we need to help her get her message across to the voters, and that takes money to get those social media posts and ads, as well as the mailer. So I hope everybody chips in today to help see Chelsea get the win on November 3rd. Thank you so much. Honored to be with all of you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Allison Proctor from San Mateo.
I think Allison might still be in her Measure T bond meeting. She may join after a little bit, so.
So Nancy Shea, are you out there?
I'm here. Yes. Hi. I'm also, as all of you are, so super excited and honored to be here to celebrate and support Chelsea. Like some of you have also mentioned, I too have contributed, and I'm very happy to do so. You're right. It sadly, but it does take money to have a great campaign. And so I'm all for that. So I've jotted down a few notes, and it started with saying going last is always super fun. But really, seriously, ditto what all of you said. I won't repeat it because I absolutely share everything you've said about Chelsea's strengths and her commitment and her knowledge, etc. So I'm just going to throw out a few of the really valuable characteristics, and this is just a few of them, that Chelsea does have and that will serve her well when she is sitting on the County Office of Ed. Before that, I also forgot, I wanted to say that I've known Chelsea, we've known each other for about 7 years. I can't believe it, time has flown. And throughout that entire time, she has been focused and dedicated on creating improved public education for all of the kids in our region, but frankly, statewide as well. So she has a lot of dedication. So just 3 of the valuable characteristics that she has. The one that stands out to me so much, and I think it's super important in this time that we're in right now, is her positivity. She's always, I'm going to tear up. She's always positive, and has a positive outlook and approach. And this doesn't mean she's Pollyanna-ish, right? She's fully aware and understanding of the challenges and problems that exist, but she takes that positivity, delves into understanding even better, and comes up and works with others to formulate an action plan to address whatever the presenting issue is. And some of you mentioned some of the things she's carried through on. The next is, and this may seem trite, but I think I see it as at a very deep level, Chelsea really listens. She doesn't take that approach that she thinks that she has it all figured out. She's really listening. She listens to every individual that comes forward to her, whether it be in person, email, phone call, text, etc. She, however, doesn't listen to only those who do speak up and out and have the loudest voices. She always, and this is really touching back on what you said, she's concerned, about equity and fairness and the diverse community that we live in. she seeks out those voices that are often hidden and historically underrepresented. So that's what I mean by Chelsea really listens. The final one, and I'll keep it short and sweet. Chelsea is super smart. She is super smart. And I think this helps with any aspect of sitting on a board, right? You know, when you come up with a new problem and concern or issue and look at legislation or what is the history and looking at, you know, just so many issues. I want someone who is super smart. I want Chelsea up there, as do all of you. So again, thank you I'm happy to be here and I fully support Chelsea in this role. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. So I'm going to just share a little bit about, you know, why I'm doing this. But before I do that, I just very much wanted to thank each and every person who is here today for this. Whether, you know, I can't see you because you're in the attendee list, but I can see your name. Thank you for being here. My mom's here. She's joined, and I wish I could promote her, but I can't figure that out right now. But just to every single person who was, you know, willing to come and speak. I know you're doing this all day, every day, and so I can't say enough about how appreciative I am. And a lot of the things, you know, that you said they're so touching. I mean, I really am so excited about this race, and I know it's a big lift to do this giant county-wide race, but it's so important to me. There are opportunities that I see that involve every level of government, and as you have listened to all of my friends who've come to talk, really we have representation at every level, at the school board level here, at the council level. Hopefully, you know, Josh is going to be sitting at the legislative level. Delane Easton was an assemblywoman and a councilwoman, and she served as the state superintendent, and I'm just so honored to have her support. She mentioned the class size reduction work that she did when she served in that role. And when she did that, I was teaching at Skyline Elementary in South San Francisco. And I went from having 35 kindergartners in my class, which was a joy on many levels, to having 20 first graders. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you the difference that made. My mom could speak to it because she was in my classroom very frequently. Teaching was such a great joy for me, and I'm pretty analytic, so I ended up wanting to go to law school, and then I've been doing that and doing all this other work. But so I really feel like this is one of the most important, not to diminish anybody else's role, but it's one of the most important elected positions in our county. Education touches everything that happens, and we've seen that even more during COVID, and how important it is that we have the resources. And we've seen that there are gaps, and there are, I think, many ways we can work together better to bridge those gaps and to find sustainable education funding, to support funding at the state level, but I think we can do that locally as well. And we have to address some of the underlying issues that I've been sort of learning as I've been serving in different roles, but also uncovering in terms of the, you know, situation with who are we disciplining? How are we doing that? What are the biases that we hold? And as we know, during this era, this time of COVID, there have been a lot of other things coming to light, but these are things that exist already that nobody wants to really talk about the issues as much, because it's hard to talk about the fact that we aren't meeting the needs of all of our kids. I love our public schools. I think that we have many wonderful schools, but we are not equitable in the way that we educate children. And the fact that we don't have that even within a single district, as I observed in San Mateo Foster City, let alone our entire county, where the funding differential between one child and another could be as high as $20,000 per year, that's unacceptable to me. So we have to find ways to bridge that gap and bring that equity. So those are some of my, the reasons why I'm doing this. And again, I'm just so thankful to have this opportunity. you know, we will have ballots coming out in less than 3 weeks. It's crazy. It's the final push. We're putting out, you know, lots of communications. I'm so honored to have, I've sort of made this collage of all of my endorsements so far as we've been going through different processes, and all the teachers' support. Not only because I'm a former teacher, because I really stand up for what teachers need, and they have the hardest job in the world. And so I'm just so proud to have all the support that I've had so far, and I'm really, you know, really pushing to the end, and I really want to win, and I need your help. Not only to reach out to your, you know, your friends and share that this race is countywide. It's a really quirky race. It's an Area 4 seat, but it's elected as if it's at large. And so I have been campaigning in every city, in every district, and reaching out countywide, and hopefully that's going to help push us to the end. So thank you so much for being here. I don't know if there are any questions that people have as far as attendees or even panelists that I could answer, or that anybody would like to address. But I'm happy to do that if anyone does have any questions. And I'm trying to see if I'm not sure that the attendees, let me see. Heather, you're my helper on the video. Are you able to put, oh, I see, there are some. I see a note from Andrew. Thank you for being here, Andrew. So I'm looking to see if there are any questions there, and if anybody hasn't put one there, or they would like.
In the Q&A, there's a question about how do I get a yard sign?
Oh, excellent. Well, they're coming probably next week, so you can go on my website on the volunteer section, or you can email teambonini@gmail.com, and we will get you a yard sign. And we also have window signs if you don't have a full yard. So wonderful. There are any other questions that you can see? Karen, thank you for helping.
Yeah, no, it's not at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, how do I talk and ask a question?
Yeah, just start talking.
Oh, this is John Cradler. Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Hi, John. It's so great to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, you know, I used to work in South City School District and for the county office in prior years. And my question has to do with the need to provide staff development for teachers across the county to set up kind of a uniform or a coordinated approach to teaching them how to effectively do online instruction to parents, and to provide support for parents, and also curriculum support for providing home instruction. We're real familiar with that. We've been involved in evaluating ed tech programs and legislation, all the way back to working with Delane on legislation to provide regional services through the counties. And so anyway, I just wondered what your thoughts are on that topic.
Absolutely. So, you know, the County Office of Education, as you know, but probably, you know, everyone's not aware of all the functions that they serve. They do have that role of supporting the districts. Of course, the districts have their own administrations as well. They are providing supports for those, professional development, for curriculum, for other things. Right now, you know, there's a lot of work that the county office has done to support, in particular, the distance learning and the different curriculums that are sort of being used during this time. But it's been not available as I would hope, in that they've done some of the trainings, thankfully, you know, partnering with the community college district and doing some other things. But it was very expensive training. They were only able to do a few sessions. It did help some, so I think that that's a good thing. But it really needs to be more broad-based. And I think this is an example, along with other issues and other needs of kind of collaborating better, like special education and funding, where if all the districts come together and bring, you know, to bear the assets that they have in terms of time and expertise, that, you know, they could build a better system working together. I'm certain that I don't know what all the districts have been doing for this and how the curriculum is being supported. My younger son is in San Mateo Foster City, where I am, right, where I was on the board. But I do know that it's been a very difficult time, and it's hard for to roll all of this out so quickly. And I do think there more collaboration is better. And rather than being, I know it's an option, if you will, to participate, or a cost of some sort to participate at the county level, that really just should be something that we just do. So we need to find a way to build that into our funding as well, that isn't, those who can afford it. I'm sorry, if your district can't afford that, then they're going to have to do something else. They should be given those supports no matter what. And that probably does happen on some level, but this, I know the distance learning, that was not how it was addressed. Thank you for the question, John.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have a question? No, we had a couple people that had to leave. Josh had to run off to do his labor. He was actually at a fundraiser before this as well. So everyone's very busy with this campaign season, and always with everything that's going on. If we don't have any more questions in the chat, then I will say thank you so much again for everyone for being here. And I believe that Karen.
I'm up, yes.
Yes, that Karen might be up to do some.
Hi, everybody. So as opposed to all these honored guests and Chelsea, who has held all these many positions, I am a parent in the county with a child who is now in the high school system, but did go through the San Mateo Foster City school system. And that is how I met Chelsea. And I'm here co-hosting along with Ruth Mary and Alexandra because of who Chelsea is. She was willing to see the environment within the school district, in particular, the way the socially economic distribution was for the schools, and take a look at that and see how that played out in their education, and was willing to stand and make this an important issue for the district, stand against a wave of views that says, well, yeah, that's important, but there are other things that we need to get to. But her courage and her willingness to listen to parents who felt that this was a key issue, and her willingness to stand against a more general view of how it should be dealt with, was very important to me. And so I know that as we take a look at all the issues and all the changes that come out of the fact that we are educating our children in the pandemic, that she is a person who can take a look at the environment as it is and say, how is this serving our children? And what do we need to do that's different? And even if her peers do not feel at first that this is that whatever she sees, whatever the issue is important, I know that due to her skill set, whether it's her skills as she was trained as an attorney, or whether it's her skills as a teacher, she will be able to help them see the opportunities and the inequities, and allow us to have issues and programs, issues addressed and programs in place to move forward for a more equitable and a more higher level of academic outcome for all of our children. And so that is why it is so important for me to support Chelsea today. I have a few housekeeping items that I need to communicate with you. A week from tomorrow, the ballots get mailed. So vote. Please communicate with your friends, that encourage them to vote. If you're convinced, please encourage them to vote for Chelsea. Sample ballots are a week from tomorrow. The ballots get mailed on October 5th. Please vote early. We know that there's some concern about the mail, but you can drop it in election boxes. There's one at the local San Mateo Public Library that will be put out. The vote is on November 3rd, of course. And also, in addition, you've seen a lot of posts about contributing. I don't know if you know this. I didn't know that even putting the voter information guide costs $10,000. I mean, that was a surprise for me. That's pretty expensive for a candidate. So please contribute whatever you can, and you can do that on chelseabonini.com. Also, you can volunteer, and you can put signs out, you can do phone bank, you can email to friends, as I said before. If you're a big social media person, please share your thoughts for Chelsea on that as well. And thank you, Chelsea, and everyone else, all the guests who are here today. Thank you for attending, and for everybody who came to listen and hear about Chelsea, thank you for attending as well. And I'm dutifully impressed that we are out 15 minutes early, Chelsea, so not bad.
Very good. Wonderful. Well, thank you all again. It was great to see everyone, and even those I can't see, but I can see your names. Thank you for being here. It's going to be an exciting, last 48 days until November 3rd, and watch for your ballots, and don't forget to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. Vote Chelsea.
All right.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Good evening. Thank you.